get value out of his ultimate, whether he is just zoning the engage away here from HANJIN BRION, messing up what the Skarner's trying to do, because if he goes in, he won't necessarily be able to get out. The same with the
Ragnarok now online, as casting just barely gets the rest of that damage. Glacial Storm now available in this mid lane, and there's the hookshot wall dive. First blood goes to Scout. All that important for locking that one down as Sponge comes on in. We're going to see whether he can put some extra pressure onto Gideon. Level 6 advantage here for the Lee Sin, but the rest of the bros are making... Oh, wait, he just flipped over the top of the car. That was so sick. All right, casting now looking to come on over, and Sponge isn't out of the woods just yet. All right, can he tag Namgung in order to get his way up? Well, Petrifying Gaze says absolutely not, and won't have another Q, and so is definitely dead. Still,
we're looking at a game state here where this Dragon is pretty late. You know that neither of these teams have been able to get bottom side control. It's been all about the mid lane.
Oh no, I've seen this one before. Well, stun isn't going to connect as Gideon looking to drive in and pick up the bird. Will be able to throw a rock over as there's the flash taunt. Will be the egg coming on through. The kick from Sponge comes on down as well. Roma going to be the first one taken out. They do kill both mid laners in this exchange, but Nongshim still scrapping here. And now I'm going down to 50%. Still, they are just going to...
So Romer on the back foot. They will get this first Dragon finally here. Super late into the game at 10 minutes, but Romer still the target.
Oh, good turn there from Scout. Does get himself out of the way. Trying to make his way back in now that ulti had ran out, but Alpha are there on the top side, and no flash required there for casting as he didn't even have it.
This is a very scary place to try to fight. Kangan's Ghost is coming up, and Lehens is still here.
That's a big shield. Stands United coming down on top of the Ambessa, and Namgung going to help lock down that kill. Now Lehens going to have to wall dive his way out as Gideon doesn't hit the rock, but he may not need to. Lehens also still has flash, so he is just absolutely fine as he walks it off, but still, very good kill onto Kingan.
I think what Kingan and crew did not actually anticipate was the Namgung ultimate, myself included. I thought, oh, okay, this is actually not a favorable position here.
Him do get out.
Or just trying to play the game. They're like, anyone else interested in playing the game with us? Diablo's like, well, I guess if the answer is no, I'm going to hit this turret.
Yeah, Diablo found the single-player version, and Lehens found the dead version. Romer is just going to yell at him, and down will go. Look, if you want me to explain it to you, I can't. And that's just the end of it. I can explain this one, though. Sponge looking for a dive onto Roma. Deadly Flourish is going to miss there from Diablo, but it doesn't matter. Lehens is flashing on top, looking for that revenge. Namgung showed up, but I don't think he wants to be at this party, as Teddy's going to come on back, and he's like, no, you know what? I'll take the back door. I'll just leave. It's
this is such a huge swing of gold in this game. Now Nongshim are going to be able to get this first turret off of a really well-coordinated dive. In return, Gideon gets this Rift Herald. We'll be able to drop it down here. I don't think they'll be able to get this turret, though. It's so healthy. And we have Scout showing up to deny it.
Oh, the wall comes in. Perfect timing.
But they have to be wary of a steal.
Exactly. Sponge moving over, does have the kick back up and available, but no flash. And it looks like they're not actually going to commit to the steal. Sponge will let that one go. And obviously, it's an Infernal Soul. I said that before. Mario. The Baron is going to spawn. Gideon actually CC'd by the Baron. And there is Sponge making his way in. The Baron getting a little bit frustrated as Gideon refusing to auto-attack anyone. And it's like, no, we want 0 stacks. Okay, now Teddy taking some damage here from these undertows as Kingan will be able to pick up his axe. He's got Ragnarok. There's no way that you can actually stop this. The kickback. Sponge looks for the Cuban Namgung, shows up in the nick of time. Teddy survives! And Diablo will be able to help knock down that snake. Scout now getting the big old shield as Hextech ultimatum to try and keep them alive. And Scout, so annoying. Lehens dives in. Casting caught, and oh no! It's a Skarner that's been domesticated! It's in a little pen! Oh, it's terrible. Scout's gonna lock it down. And I guess, you know, birds do canonically eat scorpions sometimes.
Nongshim draft is just so...
Get the red buff! Oh no, it's just old, so bad.
It's just a new pet project here for Nongshim.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah, I like the use of the word pet. Speaking of which, the pet bird here from Nongshim is up towards the top side. Roma is going to get the ultimate off, doesn't get the stun, but there's a beautiful impale. Down to the egg goes Scout, though it's not over yet, as he should be respawning. The Deadly Flourish needs to be flashed by Roma, and back comes the bird. Just, incubated once again, and Scout pops up at half health.
All right, that's kind of big that they... Oh!
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, just looking for some Krugs, and Diablo will quietly, you know, racked up 6 out of 8 kill participation is kind of just chilling. I kind of hate the build, but it's fine. It's Jin. It's not like he's going to do much. Anyway, as the bros grouped up as 4, looking for an angle towards this Jin, and there is the Impale. I don't think they're going to be saving him. So I apologize, Diablo. That was probably going to count as a caster curse. Scout looks for a little bit of a stun. The Glacial Storm comes down. This might be a bridge too far, as he does have the dash cannon, but he doesn't have his flash, nor does he have the egg. And so the bros will kill 2, both of the carries, and now look for a potential Baron.
And now, as much as I've been glazing this draft for Nongshim, it does need to be set up and in formation to operate, and Diablo just gets caught for free, and then the rest of the team fall like dominoes. Lahen's here alone is not going to be able to get anything done here. Kingen is coming over. Sponge is looking for the cross angle. He's on vision.
Yeah, Lahens goes in. There's a petrifying gaze, and now Kingen's running after Teddy. He'll get that kill. Down goes Namgung as well. And Sponge, he gets on in there. They're still on the Baron, though, and I think the bros will be able to take this one down. There it is. And so they look. And they are going to move on down there now with control of the river, at least for the moment.
Tougher to engage with this comp as Nongshim than to control space defensively. And Bro know it, they're just going to play it slow and walk out of these ults.
Great wall to come down here for Scout as well, just to hold them in that Glacial Storm. But they are just taking the Dragon. And they'll secure it. That is Soul Point over to the bros. Nongshim now just kind of scattering. Gideon looking for the runaround, but I'm not sure about that one. That was a weird angle. He gets kicked back, interrupted on the Impale, and now Gideon gonna have to get out of there. His health bar is gigantic, and so he is gonna be all right. Another gorgeous wall. Roma yells at nothing, and the public execution gets into the backline. Can casting save the play? That's the question. As Kingen flashes out over the wall. No one dead just yet. Namgung limping away from the battlefield, and Sponge gets in the double taunt. The turn for the bros, but it's a turn for the worst. As Gideon gets in there, will take down the egg. These health bars are excruciatingly low, and Kingen finds a last hit with an axe. Now Diablo looking for Gideon and casting, and these two are both melee. It's going to be so difficult to get themselves out of here, but Gideon slams him into the wall, and Diablo versus casting. Diablo doesn't want it.
Nongshim had no right to get in. We're going to see Scout come over here just defensively after he gets that turret. Doesn't want to get collapsed on.
He was a little bit worried that there was someone coming up to try and stop him here as the Rift Scuttler will come on down. There's a public execution into the backline. Noah Scout is in a lot of trouble. Gets the Seraph Shield, and the wall is gorgeously placed. He will be able to make it out as Sponge is able to take down the enemy mid laner, but the Olaf is also dead. Lahen's having to wall dive his way away as Gideon shows up once again. Lahen's is going to die, and Diablo is sprinting out of the battlefield. That is going to be the blue buff secured, but I don't know about this Baron angle for the bros.
There's no TP for Scout. He just used it. I think Bro actually should be able to do this on spawn because he doesn't have health. There's no Hex Gates or anything like that. They have the time here. They do reconsider those. Diablo walking in.
Diablo, what are we doing, buddy? Oh no, he's just going to pop like a balloon. Let's see whether he can actually do something here. He does have Scout to back him up. And they do get some vision. Gideon is at full health. It will be a smite fight. And man, using the Baron little wall, the hunting Baron is doing so much damage. It has taken them relatively low as they get into the backline. The kick is gorgeous onto Teddy. And the Olaf takes down the Corki. Lahens makes his way over. Man, this would look way better for Nongshim if Diablo hadn't suicided earlier. And Scout gets picked up by the public execution and then taken down with these twin fangs. The bros reign supreme as only Sponge stays alive.
Such a smart call from Bro, but they prevented Nongshim from getting that setup that they needed.
So push for the bros. This game is still so close as far as money, but Infernal Soul is such a huge deal. Oh no, the Anivia factor
Sponge is
coming
pulling
on
this
in.
wave, and he is a Lee Sin that's got these cinders to actually play through even as well. He's very slippery, so this is going to annoy HANJIN.
Yeah, where's the
here.
siege?
They're buying a lot of time here with this. Only 50 seconds left on this Baron. It's tough into Anivia with those waves clearing as Lahens may be in trouble.
Yeah, Lahens is going to get caught out. Does shield up a bit of the damage, but is otherwise just going to die.
Like that alone might not be enough. They might not even be able to end on Elder Baron if nobody dies on Nongshim in the exchange, but that's the game plan here. As we have a TP flanking Anivia to try to regain space.
Yeah, Lahens dives in. Hextech Ultimatum is in the middle of Narnia, though. A Scout does make his way over. The wall is gorgeous. They're all in the petrifying gaze. plays though as Sponge gets stunned up. The curtains from downtown. Namgun taken out first. It's a double for Scout. Gideon's so incredibly low, but Teddy is able to take down the Olaf. Sponge tries to be the hero, but he fails in the backline, and the Impale is onto 2. Diablo has to flash Teddy. He limps away from the fight, but he survives. Sponge comes back up. Gideon slams him into the wall, and it's a triple for the Fountain Laser. And Teddy even catches the bird in the air. Lahens needs to give the Penta, man. Like, this game has been ludicrous.
Teddy's playing so well. He's fighting this fight with Infernal Soul and like 10% health, but he does all the damage needed, and now he and Gideon are just healthy enough.
But no Guardian Angel, but it should be a 5v5, but there's the taunt from Namgun. Makes his way in. Sponge gets out of the way. Gideon not able to find them there as the Glacial Storm goes down. The Impale under 2! And Teddy's Phosphorus Bomb basically just killed both of them in the blink of an eye. That's going to be Exodia for the Bros, and I think that should be enough to close out this game number 1.
I think the brew is well and truly steeped.
Oh, yes.
Ready for consumption at this point at 40 minutes.
I would say that it's probably a bit over the edge, and you're going to need to add a bit of water.
They've been 100%ing this game.
Oh, yeah. They've got all of the trophies.
I think they just got the plat.
Yeah. They can probably take the cartridge out. It's time to go with another one.
They collected all 3 elemental dragons. They got the Barons. They got the Elder. And now they're looking for the Nexus.
Yeah. The Dragon is going to breathe fire on the next one to get beneath that threshold, as the curtains have been called, but probably not for the Bros, although these bullets are doing a lot of damage. Diablo holding that last one, just pops Namgung there as they're diving into the backline. Teddy, he's going to be that target. He's down to the GA, but lands is going to get eaten by a dragon. There is the wall to come down. Diablo is able to get another GA, but Teddy's popped back up again, and man, he is so scary. Double stun. There's that dragon we were talking about. The kick is an utter fail there onto Sponge, who goes down, and it's Scout against the world. Like it kind of has been all game long. Another multi-kill here for Teddy. 12, 3, and 8 on the Corki. And not to do Cassante support, which was looking very obvious, and instead they will flex it over to the Nautilus.
I liked how Nongshim started this draft. I don't really...
there.
He has TP. I guess he's fine.
Oh, the max range scatter here for Scout, and Lahens, he picked a flash that comes down. Romer is going to Realm Warp over, and they're going to have to just dive the turret. Let's see whether they can get this one done, as Kingen will be taken down. Casting with the all-out, just gets himself out of there. Jim will be able to lock that one down for the first of the game. Nicely done there.
Rely on Casting's collapse if he wants to actually force a fight here. They're playing very safe, but this is an engage angle and interrupt the drag.
Sponge going to miss the Q onto his flag as Lahens able to play some defense here. Only level 5 on the Cal though. He's in a lot of trouble. No flash available, and he will be taken down. The Unleashed Power, the Cataclysm, they're trying to kill Gideon, who just flips his way out of there and will be okay for the moment. So the one kill for the team fights, both of these teams, and there's a minute left on the Dragon.
They should be able to get it before this Dragon.
Oh, Flash Bolt to come on through as Namgung being delivered over to Sponge, but Gideon is right there, and Lahens is just dead. Yeah, well, Realm Warp is going to secure that one, as now Namgung may actually die in the end, and there it is, the Unleashed Power, and both...
Romer has full prio right now, as Scout backed late, and Kingen has got Flash and ult, but I think he's just dead.
Yeah, there's the all-out, the Equalizer this time underneath the turret, as Kingen is just flashing away. Just trying to pull the minion wave, I guess.
Yeah.
Sixes for our supports as Nongshim looking for Dragon number 2, and they are actually getting a decent way through it. Currently, Diablo almost has a 700 gold lead. That is from largely the cull being completed, as well as his quest, which is done. But Roma taking a lot of damage here. Cloud Soul this game as well. And Namgung taking a lot of damage. Man, Lahens is going to be running so fast. 5 extra movement speed on the patch. And
tier 3. He's just not really going to hurt Romer that much.
Lahens, he was thinking about a headbutt pulverized and then realized that it was probably not worth his time, as Diablo does get the spell shield down. Gideon's in a lot of trouble, gets the shield, but look at those boomerangs go. Namgung going to be the next target, and down he will go. Teddy standing his ground, but I don't know whether he really wants to, as On the Hunt has been popped, and Diablo walks into that True Shot barrage. Romer is just burning down. And he is just trying to catch this wave that Kingen is delivering. It should be Sponge locking this one up. Another pole flash here from Lahens as Teddy gets himself out of the way. The ulti there from Lahens will be able to keep him alive, as Diablo will just take down this turret. Teddy lives, but the structure does not.
Yeah, and just a second before Bro get this top turret here for casting, so they miss it by just an inch. As Diablo is not afraid of Teddy right now.
Yeah, the ricochet's going straight through. The flash gets out though. Nicely done there from Namgung.
And finally,
they are just going to try and take it. We do have a teleport on Roamer available. He's going to use it here. Here's the contest from the Bros. True Shot Barrage does come out. Lehens uses his flash in a weird way as the Pulverize does basically nothing. There's the all-out onto casting. Good knock-ups there from Sponge. Scatter is phenomenal, but Diablo's already down. The only power comes in though, and Roamer is going to get taken out, and it's Teddy that's the hero of the fight. Scout just not quite in it. The anchor stops Lehens from getting away, and it's a triple for Gideon. Sponge has to try and run for the hills, but he's not going to be able to do so, I do not think, although he does have the flag and drag, and there he will be allowed to live. That's the first dragon going over to the Bro.
To him. Then it becomes a different story, as he may be cut down by too many members of Nongshim here.
Well, let's see whether they can do it. He is pretty good at dealing with magic damage, which is what's coming in. There's the Pathmaker now on cooldown as the Cataclysm is going to try and hold him in place. The all-out is down, and that means that he's a bit more susceptible to death.
But on the
and
cross,
Scout's going to give that to
kills and a massive CS lead, but the fact that Roamer gets this money means that he's getting out of irrelevancy in terms of damage very quickly, and now they're even maybe going to get King in.
Yeah, Equalizer goes down. It's a pretty good spot, but Kingin is still very, very dead. True Shot Barrage was there to block off any attempt at escape, and that is not going to work out. Good timing there on that kill as they were rotating down, trying to get towards their Rumble. His blue buff on his way out.
Bro, we're just kind of
denying the aggression.
They're running the map despite the deficits. Okay, though.
Yeah, good scatter does come on down here as Diablo's just trying to layer this damage through. They do not manage to take down the Nautilus.
Oh, that true shot.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. As King in, big ol' shield after the teleport, but he will just use it in order to take down this minion wave. That turret having his teleport back up again, so he is going to answer the Rise's push as Nongshim trying to set up a gank rush, 4 versus 4. The anchor is going to connect, but it's onto Lehens. He kind of likes those odds. He's casting, getting into the backline. This time he will get knocked up, though. It's Diablo so much safer. The all-out is not going to work at all as the Equalizer stops Gideon from being able to approach. Teddy not going to get scattered because he's not weak. He's dead. It's a double for Scout and Nongshim. They don't like the other dragons anymore. They're going to take a...
is a great consolation prize, I suppose. Plus Lehens, maybe?
Yeah.
Scout's coming over, but I don't know about this.
Lehens is just trying to keep him interested. That is going to be the Drake secured. Lehens did not need to die.
They don't need Alistair to have. Yeah, it's crazy. He doesn't have a bounty, but Sponge does.
I was actually about to say, like, I'm glad he didn't give away the bounty, but, like, he doesn't have one. Namgung now looking for a little bit of a catch here, but it's a great scatter from Scout. Scout is always there to keep these kids alive, and it's working out very, very well. I like how Lehens is probably one of the oldest players on this team.
3-item
He's
Scout.
the one that needs the most protection right now.
3-item Scout, 3-item Diablo. That hasn't changed. And this Baron with Sivir Siege and the poke here from the Syndra is just so incredibly powerful that he's just desperately trying to clear this with the help of the Rise. But this Baron has already gotten a lot of control on the map.
Spell shield down. Casting was thinking about trying to find an angle. The Bros will be able to push up. Only one plate does get removed when Diablo is on one of these team fighting 80 carries. These team fights really can be problematic for the Bros. Casting just trying to deal with this minion wave has actually done a great job. And Diablo finds another gorgeous spell shield. And it's now on cooldown though, and he does actually take some meaningful damage here. As a Realm Warp trying to catch out this Sivir. They do get behind him, but the Equalizer goes down. There's no Grom thrown at him. That was crazy. Scout unleashes the power onto Namgung, and it just doesn't work for the Bros. Diablo's burning down, and he may actually die, but I don't think it even matters. True Shot Barrage from Teddy kind of does nothing. Lehens might die, but that's kind of been what he's wanted all game long, and in fact, he'll be denied. They don't want to give him that extra power. There's the ace, and Nongshim, I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to deliver us our coveted Game 3 in the prize group.
Nongshim deliver us the same way Roamer did. They could get back into the game, but now I just don't see it as... Soul point again here for Nongshim on this dragon.
All right, lands. I'm going to get anchored here, but he's got the unbreakable will. He's just trying to keep them interested. And now looking for some cooldowns. Teddy gets dove on, and the pulverize comes down. The bottom lane gets locked up. It's a double for Diablo, make it a triple. Casting going to be the next to go down. It's Scout that collects that one. Casting goes all out because he wants all out of this game, and I think he'll get the wish. The scatter comes in, it doesn't matter. That's going to be the ace to come through. It's clean, and Nongshim are just going to knock down this stuff and destroy the Nexus.
Yeah, they're not really that interested in this dragon anymore. Casting's got a big smirk on his face. He had some big moments in this game, but wasn't able to team fight once Diablo hit 3 items. And there just was, again, no sound there, no control, and Bro just looked for another desperate play. But I think they were ready for game number 3, the decider, and another banger game here of our Rise group.
And I have to say, we were saying, Sponge, make sure that you're playing well on. We're going to have Lucian Yuumi versus the Melio Xayah this time around.
I don't think that this draft is going to be defined by Melio when I wanted this one. Now, under threat because Gideon just left him here.
Let's see whether this pillar can actually make this one work as Namgung does detach. They're trying to tank up this turret as Diablo's flashed on in. That is first blood over to the Yuumi though. They're going to pick up a double, and oh my god. Probably the best individual Drake to get early on in the game.
They'll even
Gideon
get to
will be able to secure it.
Get to keep that control.
Yeah, that dive has really warped everything here in this game. As Teddy, piercing light comes down, fire kick goes wide, and he's now in that fog of war. Lahan's so incredibly low. Is Teddy still going to be going down a little bit here?
That control ward's still there. It's still so valuable.
Oh,
they're in trouble. No flash.
Not do this as Gideon going to flash in with the audacious charge. Diablo, no flash available. He's just dead. Lahan's, he's going to flash, and that will keep him alive for the moment.
It's going to be good for Bro, especially with first brick going over here with all this extra damage.
This is not where Scout wants to be either. Wind becomes lightning, and he's going to miss because of the flash. That is all of those plates, this full inner turret. Inner turrets are worth so much money as well. And so it now gets, like,
he just cut
the lead for Teddy gets cut in half entirely, and there is that gold grab. Sometimes you gotta love production, knowing exactly what to do. And yeah, the outer turret is going to survive. Kingin just jumps on top of Teddy, and he's dead! Oh, God!
In all 3 lanes.
Yeah, this is just like a tempo masterclass here, as it's not a shock blast masterclass from Kingin, who's going to make that one go wide. Tibbers goes down, Ghoulie Wall goes in, Tibbers kicked away, but the turret is still going to go down, and Nongshim are going to reclaim away.
I think they do, but they're not scaling, and they don't have a Yorick in a side lane, as they're going to try to TP him into a flank.
All right, the flanking Yorick is the deadliest as in comes the Maiden. Kingin is going to get rounded. There's the final chapter, and the Jace will be going down first. Nongshim are just going to secure the dragon as now the kite back begins. Can Diablo make that one work? The answer is definitely not. It's a double for the Yorick as Casting now has a little cat as well as a bunch of ghouls, and he has the right skin for it as well. Into the Ghoulie Wall they go, but it looks like Nongshim will be allowed to escape for now. Good fight there from the Bros. Top lane. Well, it was 4 until Teddy went back home again. So this turret
that
is
fight itself is only relevant if you also can then threaten Soul Point with it, but they couldn't do that. And the gold they got it matters, but it doesn't change the full story.
Sponge, don't listen to the voices. Don't listen to the voices. He listened to the voices! He's going to need to subjugate. It's not going to work! As the final chapter comes down, looking for some snares. Doesn't quite get it. Teleport in from Scout, though, is now Teddy. Has to flash to get out of the way. Still, it's a pick onto the jungler. And they're going to be very happy that that one is acquired. But that is
I guess they could try to just board it and charge it and siege this up. I mean, I think it's really difficult for Bro to defend without Yorick here. He is coming over.
Yeah, so it might be Shelly getting a charge. And there it is. So that is some extra money. And in fact, almost takes that turret down. Gideon also looking worse for wear as Sponge really has been inside this jungle. They will siege down the inner,
but they also
there's only one inner turret left.
Blast at the approaching BRION squad, and BRION just can't close the gap. I mean, Romer has flash, but it's a long flash she's going to need to get in and engage here. Gideon with no crescent guard.
Whoa, the flash from Romer. I don't know about that position from Diablo, but he goes up into the sky, puts the feathers down, and now Kingin to the skies into the back line. And they do look to take down Tibbers. The flash forward, he takes down the Annie, but he will get taken out for it. Gideon now in a lot of trouble. Teddy getting chased down. The flash in, but Teddy stays alive. He's skating, and he's able to get the double as Scout falls. kills. Diablo so close to dead, but he will stay alive for the moment. 3-2, and that should be soul point to the bros.
The defense of Roamer's flash was great, but they didn't need to chase that far onto Teddy, and it's going to backfire in a huge way. And now Diablo, I think, is probably just going to get run down. Lahen's 100% dead, and this is a disaster for Nongshim.
There were 4 that were alive. Actually, it's just the cat is a little bit confusing. That was a cute flash from Diablo.
Okay, he gets away, but it's not going to stop that soul point from going over to...
Well, Gideon and Roamer are making their way over. Teddy's here as well. They're going to have everyone there except for Casting, whose teleport is still not off cooldown. Gideon gets in. It's going to be a 50-50, but Gideon's going down low. The Culling's massive. They steal the Baron. Teddy's just partying on the Arcane Storm and not caring at all. King is dead, and the bros are going to destroy Nongshim now. The Featherstorm comes in, but I mean, that was way too late. The bros let him go. They've gotten what they wanted.
Bro, get the steal, get the kill. Nongshim, here's the best way to put it. I don't think they understand their win comps. Bro, they've got 5 turrets to 3. They just keep feeding team fights over to Bro, and now that standing gold you mentioned is still a thing.
Jump scare. As Sponge doesn't have Subjugate, nor does he have his life. Teddy's going to be able to lock him down. Scout now trying to stay alive against both of these brawly members of the bros, and he is just dead.
Where's the macro we were seeing earlier? Now Bro just
going to have to wait for that one. As Kingin is trying to be frustrating towards the top side. I mean, there's bounties, but there's no
pressure
turrets.
with the Xin.
Yeah.
Who does have a gold lead now.
And the Yorick. So a very good moment here, as Diablo will be able to get some autos onto Gideon, who does throw down the Crescent Guard. It's pretty early, and there's not a whole lot that they can do about it. It does wear off now as he has to flash, gets over the wall to burn the tick, and he's down to the Subjugate. And Nongshim, they get rid of the jungler right as the dragon is spawned. Maybe a chance to come back.
This game starts to feel like who's made the most recent error.
Yeah.
Another Shock Blast is not going to land. Roamer has Flash Timbers. They need to play around it a little bit here, but they just have so much damage. They can kind of camp the dragon and say there's no enemy jungler, so
bounty gold, baby.
Bounty gold, as you say. And will Roamer be able to
back towards his mid lane?
Lichbane picked up for the Victor. A really potent item as well if they end up just winning a fight suddenly with that open mid lane.
Oh, Roma looks for the angle, finds Diablo in that backline, but the ulti does come through. Final chapter isn't the best, as now Diablo just gets on top of Roma. Roma should be dead, but no! It's the Desire that goes down. Scout has to overextend. Lahen's looking to keep Sponge alive, but he'll fail to do so, and Teddy's on a rampage. Scout staying alive here towards his top side. Wind doesn't become lightning, and Gideon doesn't get in there. Okay, Gravity Well goes down, and Gideon will have to back away, but Scout has to try and get back, and I think the bros have done it. Nongshim looked great in the first week of this round robin, but this time around, the bros are going to find their win here in game number.
No, that inhibitor respawns, and Saya is going to respawn in 10. They're trying to force this here, and I think they might just have the damage.
I think they might. It's a naked Nexus. They're going to kill Scout first, just for fun. Teddy, an absolute monster here in this game as the bros take down Nongshim here in the first series of this round, this week.